Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jeff from BKJmacTV, and this is the BKJmac Podcast Experience, Season 2, Episode 24. This episode is a review on the Chris Rock live special on Netflix that occurred back on March 4th, 2023. It's titled Chris Rock Selective Outrage. Selective Outrage. I wonder what that means. Well, we all know what it means. Actually, basically, the special was live, and it was the first time Netflix had ever did anything live on its streaming platform before. So, in this Selective Outrage stand-up special, basically talked about Chris Rock's experience on stage at the Oscars last year when Oscar winner Will Smith basically walked on stage after hearing a comment about his wife from Chris Rock. It was a harmless joke. He walked up on stage and basically slapped him across the face. Now, you could see the video I did on my YouTube, BKJmacTV. I did a whole video about this, which was crazy. We did it from every angle, every lens. When before Will Smith went up on stage and slapped Chris Rock, when he was making jokes at Miss Jada Pinkett Smith, basically Will Smith was laughing, and he was laughing quite hilariously from his seat. We don't know when the camera pans away from Will Smith. Basically, the next moment later, you see him coming up on stage and then assaulting Chris Rock. Now, what was strange about it was he started cursing at Chris Rock and then stating, "Keep my effing wife's name out your mouth," which was very disrespectful, yelling and cursing at an institution that had been around since the 1920s. So Will started going off. It's almost like he was starting having a nervous breakdown in a sense. And Chris Rock left the stage, left the building, and he was embarrassed. He actually received a concussion from the incident. LAPD did not arrest him, and basically he was allowed to remain in the building where he received his Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. It was a moment that was very weird, very strange. Now, when the investigation came out, backlash went against Will Smith. He accepted responsibility. He resigned from the Oscars commission, and he was banned for 10 years because of his conduct. At the current playing of this podcast episode, he has 9 more years to go. But at this point, it was ridiculous. And Will Smith had made amends. He made videos and apologizing to Chris Rock. But Chris Rock had not yet responded yet. And when it came to his Netflix special, Selective Outrage, oh boy, was Chris Rock ready to respond. And when he did respond, he did not hold back any punches. He called Will Smith a bitch on so many occasions. And the reason he called him a bitch was because many media outlets in America, in pop culture, speaking about pop culture, called him a bitch because of the situation that his estranged wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, was putting him through. Basically bringing him on the Red Table Talk and questioning about, how did it make you feel that I cheated on you with my son's best friend? Which was strange and bizarre by any means of the imagination. And the way Will Smith responded wasn't really adequate to the people that were tuning in on that episode of the Red Table Talk. So they were pissed. They were pissed, and they really came after Will Smith about that. And I think he was just so angry and so frustrated about being called out and basically being humiliated by his estranged wife that at that moment, I guess when he sees Jada's face, he says, okay, now I got to do something. and he went and strike Chris Rock. Chris Rock didn't like that. He didn't appreciate that at all. Chris Rock is smaller than Will Smith, and the fact that he made a joke, he said it, the fact that I made a joke, you felt like you could attack me, but you couldn't attack anybody else that said more crazier, more vile things to you, but you picked on the smaller guy, which I believe Will Smith was wrong about that. He should not have done that. Chris Rock held no punches back. He criticized how awful concussion was. Even though he messed up the joke, he was able to correct himself. He said how awful it was, how bad the moment was, how he gave Chris Rock a concussion because of the assault. It was he went in. You could see Chris Rock really going in. He called Will Smith a bitch, and he called Jada Pinkett a bitch, all because of their conduct at the Oscars and the aftermath of the Oscars. It was a really bad moment, and everybody asked, why didn't Chris Rock fight back? Because he said that his mom's taught him not to fight around white folks. And let's be honest, it hurts us when we fight around white folks, because they're already testing our image. They already have this idea about our image that we're overly aggressive. So Miss Rock's mom was like, don't respond back with violence. If somebody hits you with violence, you turn the other cheek. You do not respond with violence. And that's what Chris Rock did. He did not respond with violence at all. He turned the other cheek and kept it pushing. He was upset. He was humiliated. And apparently when Will Smith got word of watching the special, and his peoples was telling him about it, he was upset. He was upset about what Chris Rock had said, and he was upset that Netflix gave him the platform to say it. But let's be honest, Mr. Smith, what you did was disgusting. It was deplorable, and it had no place in the Oscars or any place that's suitable and respectful. So for you to go in and say that he had no right to express himself in the way he did, you're wrong about it. It's not about trying to control the situation or trying to control the narrative. He's speaking his truth, and he's speaking about how he felt, and I felt like he did it very adequately. I mean, he did a bit about selective outrage. Oh, I don't want to make another rapper mad. Made references about Jay-Z. Oops. He said, oh, I don't want to make another rapper mad. It was funny. If you watch it from beginning to end, it's quite funny. It's quite entertaining. Now, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 48%. I mean, not all critics are going to be able to understand and appreciate those jokes, but let's be honest, he wasn't really telling jokes. He was really finding a way to vent out his anger and his frustration and his rage, but through a comedic point of view. He held that in for over almost a year basically, and it was not right. So he found a way to release it, and I think he did it very well on stage, and I'm glad Netflix gave him the opportunity to express himself in such a way, because Chris Rock is very talented, and what happened to him, it should not have happened at all, and it was a shame. It was a shame on Will Smith. Now let me tell you, I'm a Will Smith guy. I like Will Smith. I like Chris Rock too. I actually went to go see Will Smith's movie Emancipation at the Regal Theater on 14th Street before they closed it down. Favorite movie theater. I love the theater. I love that theater. And it wasn't a very emotional movie. Granted, there were some things I did not like about it, but I enjoyed the movie nonetheless. I'm gonna tell you this. This move hopefully teaches Will Smith, stop trying to be perfect. Stop trying to be this perfect guy. You have to respond when people call you out, but not in a violent way, but respond in a very diplomatic way. And that's what he should have did when people from Drunk Champions or social media or whatever the case was calling him a bitch, calling him out of his name. Will Smith worked too hard and gave up too much to let some of these cats disrespect him like that. And he should have responded in a diplomatic and respectful and dignified way. That's how Will Smith should have responded. And in fact, I hope he learns from this situation and from this moment, because it's very important. It was a very big time learning moment for Will Smith. And when you watch Selective Outrage, it was indeed Will Smith was engaging in selective outrage. He took his selective outrage on Chris Rock, and guess what? People around the world took their outrage and their disgust at you. So hopefully he learned from this situation. He learned from this moment, and he should be continuing to make good movies and trying to make amends with Chris Rock, because Chris Rock did what he had to do. He spoke his truth. He spoke how he felt in this live first time special from Netflix. Live, I may add, live. So the critics may not like it, but guess what? I do, because it's very personal and it's very reflective of a man that was assaulted last year in front of the whole world who's watching the Oscars. So check this out. Check out the comedy special on Netflix. It's a good one. It'll make you laugh, but also make you pause and make you reflect on how this moment was so impactful in Oscars history. Thank you for listening to this episode on the BKJmac podcast. Please watch the video that I made about the Oscar slap, from last year on my YouTube page, BKJmacTV. It's pretty interesting. I did it from all different angles. Tell me what you think. Do you think Chris Rock was wrong for calling Will Smith out on selective outrage? Do you think Will Smith was wrong for even commenting about it? You tell me. Peace, love, always one.